Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. This one's going to be a bit of a different one, as you can tell. Today, I've seen these surveys going around Reddit where people are essentially asking the community to answer questions about the next Battlefield game, what you want to see from Battlefield 6, which direction you want the game to go in, and I think a lot of these have stemmed from the whole class system discussion. So today we're going to go and take a look at some of the results from this survey. I'm going to link it down below so you guys can answer it yourself and have your say. We don't really know if DICE is going to listen to this, but at least we're going to have what the community want down on paper, because at the moment it feels like a lot of people are saying it's the vocal minority or maybe the vocal majority. We don't really know, but this should be interesting nevertheless. So if you guys enjoy the content on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as always, and without further ado, let's just get into it here. So I have already answered these questions, and that is how I can actually see the results. I will say this, so far this survey does not have too many replies to it, so the more people that answer this, the better, but I think a lot of the results here are going to be quite interesting. So first question here, have you played a previous Battlefield title? 98.5% of people say yes, and this is kind of interesting because this shows that obviously the people on Reddit are Battlefield players. EA, with the 100 million goal, you know, with the Battle Royale and everything, clearly they're trying to capture an audience outside of the Battlefield audience, so it's obvious here that a lot of people giving feedback are, of course, just the Battlefield players, which makes a lot of sense. What is your age range? So most Battlefield players are 18 to 25, then we've got 26 to 30, 31 to 35, and then 36 to 40, which is the bracket that I fall in. I'm actually surprised it's so high, so that's kind of cool. And then it gets like older and older until you get under 18. There's only 2.1% of people under 18. Not sure if that's because are under 18s banned from Reddit? Like, I guess Battlefield technically is an 18 plus game, so maybe they just lie. I don't know. Which way do you prefer to play a shooter game? 54.6% of people mouse and keyboard. So that's pretty much almost a 50-50 split, really. Do you plan to buy the next Battlefield game? 40.7% are going to wait for reviews. 46.4%, about the same there, say just yes. So it seems to be almost equally split here between yes, I'm getting it no matter what, and the other half saying, okay, let's see how it pans out. 5.2% of people just said no. I don't really know why they're partaking in the survey if they've already written the game off, but there you go. What platform do you want to play on? 60.8% on PC. Actually, kind of surprising again. I would have thought at least half would be on console. Some people here say, okay, these are old-gen consoles, they're not going to play the game. And then it seems about a third of people are on the new-gen consoles. What Battlefield title was your introduction to the Battlefield franchise? This is kind of interesting. So, big chunk here. Battlefield 3, 16%. BF4, 1942, 16%. So these are the so-called veterans. I don't know if you want to be identified as such. We got Battlefield 1, 8.8%. Battlefield 2, that's where I came in, 14.4%. And then Bad Company 2 here. Bad Company 1, 2142, 1.5%. So where is Battlefield 2042? Here, 1% of people. So that just shows you right there how many new players Battlefield 2042 drew in and actually kept around in the community. Apparently not a lot, according to this. What previous Battlefield title do you like the most? Overwhelmingly here, I would say BF4 is the most popular title. Battlefield 3, 21% say Battlefield 1. So BF1 actually beating Battlefield 3 there. Battlefield 5, 12.4%. That is a big surprise, because that game is generally written off as like the second biggest failure. Then we got 2042, 2.6%. Interesting. What is this tiny sliver? 1942. Okay, it's very old. BF2, 2142, Bad Company 2. I think a lot of these games are just too old for much of the community. How many players do you want to see per squad in the next Battlefield title? 5, say almost half of everybody. Then we've got 4, followed by 6. I voted 4. I thought 6 is far too many. You're never going to get a squad wipe if there's like 6 players in there. A lot of people want to see 5 though. So, that's fair enough. I'd be okay with 5 as well. How important is voice chat when communicating to players in a shooter game? Important, say the majority here. Then we've got very important, followed by slightly important, not important, and then less important. So it seems that people want it. I gotta say though, that when Battlefield 2042 added voice chat, nobody uses it. It doesn't get used. I really think they should put proximity voice chat in there, and that would do much better. Would you like to have a server browser in the next Battlefield title? And overwhelmingly here, yes, across all game modes. So no surprises on that one. Do you find signature weapons and signature traits a perfect way to balance an unlocked weapon system to certain classes? So about a third of people here say just outright no. A little bit less than that say yes, and some say maybe. Some are like, I don't even know what's going on here. So it's, again, with the class system, it seems like this very much reflects, do you want open or closed weapons as well? It seems like there's a good chunk of people say no, a good chunk say yes, and then a good chunk are just like, I don't really care. How would you like to see cosmetics and aesthetics in a Battlefield title? 53% see customized military-themed skins, or 42% say military-themed skins only. So that's good to see there. 2% customized military and cartoonish skins, and 1% of people said they wanted to only play cartoonish skins only. They gotta be trolling, man. Like, these two guys here, what the fuck, man? Do you want to see different ethnic character skins in the next Battlefield title? Most people here say it doesn't matter either way. 15 people said just no, and a lot of people said yes. So this is good to see. Faith restored. Like, personally, I could not care less about this question, so I'd be like, whatever, dude. But, you know, for people of ethnic descent, I can totally understand that they would want to see characters like that in the game. Do you want to see genders, different genders in the next Battlefield game? Again, a lot of people said it doesn't matter either way. A lot of people said yes, and then the least amount of people said no. But this is a much stronger opinion here, saying no, presumably then that they don't want to see women. Maybe they only want to see women. I don't know. It's a little bit of an ambiguous question, but I'm assuming that's what it means. How should the weapon class system work in the next Battlefield title? 62.4% said locked weapons to specific classes. So that is almost 2/3 of everybody here wants locked weapons. Bear in mind, this is just a Reddit poll. It's been shared in other places as well, but, you know, keep that in mind there. Around 20% say unlock weapons using signature weapons and signature traits, which is, of course, the system DICE are going for. And then about 17% say doesn't matter either way. They just don't really care. And yeah, a few people don't know. Should a support class be able to provide both health, revive, and ammo supply? Most people here say split the support class to 2 different classes. That's what I voted for. I think the support at the moment, with both the ammo and the heals, it feels a little bit too powerful in my opinion. A lot of people just said no. And then 13.4 said maybe, and some said yes. So, there you go. Should the support class be able to have 2 primary weapons? I don't really get this because at the moment the 2 primary weapon perk is not for the support class, it's for the assault class. So I don't know if he's getting mixed up between the classes or he's just saying, hey, since like assault get it, should the support get it? Happy to see anyway that most people have said no to that one. Should the next Battlefield title have player abilities to slide around corners? Most people here have said no. And then we've got some saying maybe and some saying yes. So it seems like overwhelmingly people do not want slide. Personally, I would be in the yes camp. I think sliding is fine. I do think it needs to be balanced correctly though, so you can't use it, you know, too offensively, but defensively, I think it's cool. Would you want a toggle to turn on or off online player cosmetic skins for uniforms, weapons, and vehicles? Most people said yes to that one. I won't be against that. And, you know, if you want to just keep it, let's say, pure, then you can. Do you want to see a fortification system in the next Battlefield game? Again, most people to this one said yes. It doesn't really matter to me either way. I don't really, or have never really used the fortification system in past games, so, you know, it's not a big deal to me, but I understand it can be to some people. Do you want to see infantry resupply stations? So this is attrition here. Most people actually said yes, and it automatically shows up upon an objective capture. So instead of going back, you know, home or something to your base, which would suck, it just, you know, spawns on the objectives. And then same question here really for the vehicles. And here, the option chosen was vehicles retreat and find a resupply station. A lot of people also said have primary weapon ammo on a cooldown, don't limit vehicle ammo, and then vehicles retreat to team base. So I really am not a fan of attrition just in general for infantry or vehicles, so I definitely would have said, no here, but this does seem pretty split through the community. Which vehicle do you prefer to use in a battlefield title? By far here, a lot of people say tank, 15% helicopter, 15% say they only play infantry, jet, 8%, tractor, okay, 1% there in the tractor, represent. A few people say boats. I mean, I would have thought that would be way more in BF4, but, perhaps it's just because there aren't any boats in the game, so nobody's even going to pick that. And then here we just have attack. What does attack mean? Is that an attack jet? Nobody seems to know. How do you prefer to play in Battlefield? Both vehicles and infantry, vast majority. And then a lot of people just say infantry only, and a tiny slither here say vehicles only. I mean, I don't really see how you can play vehicles only, because you just spend all day on the spawn screen. How important is flight movement when flying a jet in Battlefield? Very important, obviously, or important. How important is it in a helicopter? Very important again, or important. How important is it driving a tank? Again, pretty much the same results here. I think everybody voted the same. Clearly, like, movement mechanics for all vehicles in Battlefield games is absolutely paramount. They really didn't get it working well in Battlefield 2042, so they've got to sort it out in this game. Do you want to see squad streaks return in the next Battlefield? Most people said yes. A lot of people said, I don't know what that is. I'd be in this camp. Is that a Battlefield 5 thing? I didn't really play much BF1 and 5, so I'm assuming it's probably from those games. A lot of people said maybe. Would you like to have a commander mode in a Battlefield title? Most people said yes here. I think commander coming back would be really nice, actually. How would you prefer to play commander mode in a Battlefield title? Most people here say in-game and only in-game. Some said smartphone, tablet, and in-game. So this is kind of like the old system mixed with the Battlefield 4 system. I think that in-game is the way to go personally. How would you prefer a commander to be played on the battlefield? Top-down view from a sky view via an in-game or mobile app. Options 1 and 2. Well, which were options 1 and 2? In-game player on the battlefield as a call-in device. I think either one of these would be cool. Like, I think I did like it when I played 2142, and that was the last game I played that had Commander, and there you just played in-game. I think you pressed tab or caps lock or something, and then you could call in stuff in the middle of a match. I did like that, but also the whole top-down view thing sounds kind of nice, but I think the way to do it would be to call up sort of like an in-game app from your soldier and do it from like a tablet in-game. That would be kind of cool. What game mode do you like the most in a Battlefield title? Almost half of everybody says Conquest. Of course, that's the bread and butter. Then we've got Operations. That actually doesn't surprise me. I hear people raving about Operations all the time. Then we've got Breakthrough, followed by Rush. A little bit less than Breakthrough there, but still not far off. So I think people do like, most of the game modes here. Grand Operations, of course, a big chunk there too. Would you like to see a platoon leader as a role in a Battlefield title? A lot of people say yes, some people say just no, just commander and squad leader, maybe, fair enough. How do you prefer to be killed? How do you prefer to be killed by a knife in a shooter game? I prefer not to be killed at all. Okay, knifed behind and counter knives from front only. Then we've got knife behind, counter knife from front and throwing knives, knifed from behind, the back only. I gotta say, I don't like the counter knife thing from BF4. It just, I don't know, it just feels cheap when you get into melee range, you knife somebody, and you get counter-knifed. Not a big fan of that. Also, do not like the third-person animations from 2042, so I just kind of want it to see it go back to like first-person knifing animations. I think that's the best way. Would you like to have an official Battlefield app to check player stats, messages, EA friends, join servers, add friends, create a platoon, etc.? Of course we would. Like, that was some of the best things about Battlefield 4. Like, you could see your platoon, you even had like a mobile app, and you could check stuff in there. It was great. Really nice. Do you enjoy taking dog tags from other players from previous titles? Yes. Yes, we do, Dice. Would you like to see customized player slash platoon emblems in the game? Yes, customized and preset emblems via website. Some people say it doesn't matter. Some people say preset emblems only. And the reason this is an option is because a lot of people basically made rude emblems. I say we should be able to make our own emblems, and DICE or EA just need to do a better job of policing them. You know, if they're just out of line, then those players' accounts need to get banned or whatever. Would you buy the next Battlefield title if the weapons are unlocked to all classes? So most people say what I said here, which is yes, and I'll just learn to adapt. That's kind of where I am. Like, it's not a deal breaker, but, you know, I'll live with it. It's okay. It's not what I want, but it's okay. 25% say yes, unlocked weapons are fine, so they don't mind. And then about another quarter say, I won't buy unless weapons are unlocked. I mean, that's 16% of people. I don't know if these people are actually just maybe full of it and they're threatening, they're making baseless threats. But 16%, if that's more than just the people on Reddit, kind of a lot of people there. Do you prefer to have a campaign in every Battlefield title? Most people here say, yes, I love playing shooter campaigns. And then it says, no, I only play online multiplayer shooters. So I actually thought this would be flipped. I thought most people didn't care. Apparently, it seems like a lot of people do care. Should a Battlefield campaign be sold separately? No, says half of everybody. And then 40% say combined with online multiplayer. This is like kind of the same answer, really, isn't it? So that's kind of a no-brainer. Should the next Battlefield title be fully printed on disc, campaign, and all of online multiplayer? I mean, why would you not want to have a CD of it? We definitely don't want to lose this game in the future. Do you support video game preservation? Most people say yes. A lot of people say, I don't even know what that is. Fair enough. That is for those who don't know, basically stopping video games from disappearing. A lot of, not just video games, but movies and whatnot, if they're not kept on a physical drive somewhere, they're download only. Once the developer decides to get rid of them, then that's it. They're gone and you can't play them anymore. How should the next Battlefield title be sold? Both digital and physical disc. Okay, good to see that. Should Battlefield developers remaster previous Battlefield titles? Actually, 41% of people say yes. Then we got a lot of maybes. No, stick to creating new and innovative ideas. And then a lot of people just say, well, some people say no. This surprises me because I just don't think a remastered Battlefield would be what we all think it would be. Like, a lot of Battlefield titles, if you go back and play them now, they just feel kind of old and stuck in their ways in terms of mechanics. So would we want like a one-to-one remaster? Maybe like a remake where they change some stuff, but I'm not sure I want a remaster where it's like the exact same game with all the same mechanics and everything. How would you like the overall direction of the Battlefield series to go? Most people say, oh, okay, this is kind of flawed because he says options 1, 2, and 3. And we're like, what options? I guess it's return to the Battlefield roots, focus on Battlefield elements, and then avoid trends from other games. Yeah, these are all like total no-brainers. How long do you prefer a campaign to last from beginning to end? 6 to 8 hours, 8 to 10, 10 to 12. I would say like anywhere around 8 hours is fine. So yeah, I agree with that there. Do you think Battlefield Labs on Discord is the perfect place to gather feedback for future Battlefield titles? Most people say yes. Do you think the Battlefield developers have control over the entire direction of a Battlefield title? 35% say the publisher, aka EA, has more control. 30% say no, and 20% say maybe, 10% say yes. I really think the publisher has more control. No matter what you're told, that is just always the case. I definitely don't think it's the case that the publisher has full control, which 5.7% of people say, but they definitely have more control than the developer. When do you want the next Battlefield title to release? Most people, winter 2025. So that surprises me. I would have thought most people would say, hey, let's give the game longer time to cook in the oven. Let's have it in 2026. Fall 2025 says 25% as well. I mean, this is like I guess winter 2025, that's like, these are kind of almost the same time, right? Fall is like what, September, October. Winter's like November, December. Winter, of course, also goes into next year. Spring 2026, this is what I voted for here. I would like to see just more dev time put into the game. What do you think is the best time to release a beta for the next Battlefield? With little bugs and core concepts completed. Totally agree with that. When bugs and core concepts are completed, yep. When the alpha build is in a good state, agree with that one too. Little to no bugs and all concepts completed. Okay. You guys know. You guys know what's up. Would GTA 6 matter to you when the next Battlefield title should be released? Almost half of people just say no. 30% say will not affect my buying purchase. 16% say yes. So, yeah, I don't think GTA 6 is going to be a big deal. GTA 6 is a game I will buy and definitely be playing. Is it going to stop me playing Battlefield 6, though? Not at all. How do you prefer to spend your time in an online multiplayer shooter? I don't really like doing any of these things. Some people said here, unlocking weapons, unlocking attachments, unlocking achievements, and then skins. And most people said all of the above. I voted for none of the above. I don't really like any of these grindy parts of shooters. I just want to like experience the actual gameplay. Maybe that's just me though. How many video games do you purchase per year? Oh, wow. Look at this split here. More than 5, 2 to 3, 1 to 2, and we've got 3 to 4, 0 to 1. So most people, I guess, they either purchase 2 to 3 or more than 5. That's kind of interesting. Do you consider yourself a Battlefield fan? I'm pretty much sure everybody here does. Would you like to see another survey in the future? A lot of people say yes. Some people said maybe. I said no. I voted maybe because I feel like a lot of these questions, the answers to them are all sort of similar. There's not enough like variety in answers that you can give here. But I think he's doing a great job so far in general. Maybe think about some of the answers next time though. How satisfied are you with this survey? Most people seem pretty satisfied. 8, 9, 10. Some 7s here. Where do you prefer to get your Battlefield news? Needless to say, most people said Reddit, followed by X, and then YouTube. So no surprises there since this was mainly posted over on Reddit. So that is about going to do it for this one, guys. Interesting survey here. I doubt DICE are really going to look at this and take this feedback and this information on board. But I think it is kind of interesting just to see, you know, what people's general consensus are on these like various topics that we talked about here today. I know a lot of people think like the Reddit community is the minority, like the vocal minority. And it's true, right? It's probably the people that are taking these surveys are like less than 1% of the player base who are going to play Battlefield 6. But the question is, are their opinions indicative of a wider range of people? The other 99 point whatever percent of people just don't express those opinions. But maybe, you know, percentage-wise, they hold similar opinions. Who knows? It would be nice if we could see more responses to this one. So as I said, I'm going to link it in the description below. Feel free to go and answer it. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it's something a little bit different. If you did, leave a like down below. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with everything Battlefield. The reveal is literally like less than 2 weeks away, guys, if we're right about the leaks, and I'm pretty sure that we are. So don't forget to tune into the channel. I'll be covering, you know, everything from the reveal, all the footage we get, the open beta comes along. I'll be playing that as well. So keep it here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for your support. Have a good one, and I will see you in the next video.